morning, guys. It is super early, and I'm still fighting off a little bit of pneumonia. If you hear me cough or struggle to breathe a little bit, it is Sunday. We are headed to church, and then we are headed to breakfast, and then I'm going to give you all the ins and outs of our trip to Mayo Clinic in November of 2019, kind of what to expect, how it went for us, and just what I thought of the place and thought about the whole experience with Mayo. And hopefully you guys enjoy it. But if you do, please click subscribe, and like this video. Thanks, guys. So, Mayo was something that was planned for us to go, I think, in September of 2019, but unfortunately we had some stuff going on with our foster and we kind of had to push it back, so we ended up moving our trip over to November of 2019. It is, okay, so first of all, scheduling is insane. So basically what happened was that my pulmonologist reached out to Mayo, referred me, and then I still had to go online, fill out some info, and they have to basically decide whether they'll take you for a patient or not, which they accepted me as a patient. All in all, it was really cool. We had a really interesting experience. We ended up driving up to Minnesota from Texas, which just getting out of Texas in general is 5 to 6 hours, 7 hours, I don't know. It's crazy. But, I live in South Texas, so driving all the way up to Minnesota was insane because the drive, I think the drive was 18 hours, all said and done. We ended up breaking up the trip in half. So we left Texas, drove to Oklahoma, stayed overnight in Oklahoma, and then drove the rest of the way to Minnesota. And then on our way back, we stopped in, I think, Iowa, and then stayed there overnight, and then ended up driving back all the way to Texas the whole way through, which that drive was a lot longer than we could have ever expected because it went on, I felt like it went on for forever. We started the drive in the morning, and then we met one of Roman's friends who is amazing out in Oklahoma, and had a little lunch with him, and then we ended up driving all the way back to South Texas that whole day. So it was a very, very long day. I would definitely recommend breaking up the trip if you can, because going that long in your car seems like it would be a little bit hectic. Sorry guys, I'm still getting over pneumonia, which is not fun at all. So we got to Mayo Clinic, and we ended up staying in rooms to, I think it's suites to home, or home to suites, out in both. Everywhere we stayed, we tried to stay at a home to suites. They are amazing, and the one that's specifically in Rochester was so fabulous because they are so open, and just I've never met a group of people who have such great customer service skills, and they just really just care for the people who come in. And I think because Rochester as a whole really it's kind of like Mayo's in the center, and everything just functions around, it's its own planet, and everything else is just functioning around Mayo. So I think a lot of people that visit and stay at the hotels they're there for Mayo. So they have their customer service to the patients is amazing, and they have the shuttle, which is great because it goes to and from the hospital several times throughout the day. And then if you're done or you need to get to the hospital at a specific time, which happened to me a couple of times, they give you a number that you can call, and you can reach out to them and just say hey, can you come pick me up? My appointment is over, or hey, I have a test. Do you mind dropping me off early? So that covers the hotel, which I thought was great. And the reason that I thought it was also great was that it was right, literally next to a Panera. And so you could like literally walk. Like it was snowing and we still were able to walk to this Panera because it was like so close. It was just right there. And so anytime we needed like something that was like snacky, or you know, like you're in another city and sometimes like we took a big box of like just snacks, like bananas and strawberries and the juices that I drink and Cliff Bars and everything that we can think of that would be like healthier options, because when you're somewhere else you want to be able to have these options. That stuff was still getting like repetitive. We were there for a week. Like we literally left on a Saturday early in the morning. We didn't come back until that Sunday. So we were gone for so long, and like eating out is just obviously something that you can't really do when you have to like watch out for like certain things. Like you have to be really cautious of gluten, you have to be really cautious of dairy, and you have to like watch out for all these things. So you can't eat out. So Panera was really a great option, and we were really thankful that it was right there. It was perfect. We also ate at some other really cool restaurants, which I will put down below. We had this really great pizza that was absolutely delicious. And anywhere I go, I have to like get fried mozzarella because it's my jam. Like fried mozzarella is the one thing that I get everywhere, because even though I shouldn't have dairy. So like if I know we're gonna go somewhere that has fried mozzarella, I'm always like, okay, it's been 2 weeks since I've had dairy, I will have it today. But their fried mozzarella is probably some of the best I've ever had, and their fried ravioli was amazing. And I honestly can't even think of the name of the place, of what it was called, which is like super weird. But yeah, so I would definitely, like, I'll list all the places down below on kind of where we stayed and where we ate and stuff, and just try to give like a little bit of information like that. I mean, obviously we ran through and used Yelp as much as possible, but there's only, like, Yelp can only do so much. And we went to some places that everybody was like, oh my god, it's amazing. And then we went and we were like, this is like not that good. Or it was like super expensive and it wasn't that like good of a meal. You know what I mean? So definitely gonna put that down below. And then if you have any like recommendations for anyone else who's going to Mayo, please leave them in the comment section, because I think it's really great that we share with the community and we're kind of open with each other on like different, or giving each other advice, because I think it's helpful for everybody. So I won't really get into the specifics on like what happened at Mayo, what I was diagnosed with, everything else. What I will say is that when we drove to Minnesota, I had 2 appointments scheduled. I had an appointment with rheumatology and pulmonology. Excuse me. And that was it. I had 2 appointments. They said, stay for the week, see how it goes. You may be able to leave sooner, you may not be able to leave sooner. We don't know yet. So we said, okay, cool. By the end of my first appointment, I already had like 4 or 5 tests to do. Then by the end of the day, seeing my pulmonologist, or seeing the rheumatologist on Tuesday, I had another appointment with cardiology and a whole other plethora of tests. Like I literally went from like having 2 appointments to having like 13 appointments. And these appointments, I call them appointments even if they're just tests. So I went from having just 2 doctor's visits to having 13 different visits, between follow-ups, between tests, between, like, I had a bubble study, I had EKGs, I had an echo, I had like several different pulmonary function tests, I had urine tests, I had blood tests, I had like everything you could ever imagine. And then I had like a whole bunch of follow-up appointments. So, I mean, but what I will say is that they are so efficient and they are so great at like getting you into your appointment or getting you seen while you're there within your visit. Like I was just able to tell them, hey, I'm only here for a week. Sorry guys, pneumonia. I'm only here for a week. Can you get me in during this time? So, and then you also have the appointment, like if they schedule you an appointment out that's like, I don't know, let's say like your appointment's on the 1st of January, and then they're like, oh, well, the next appointment isn't until the 27th of January, or the second week of February. Then what you could do is just go and you can register, you can check in at the department and just tell them like, hey, I want to be a sitter, and you can just sit, basically just wait, and they'll squeeze you in at any point. It's a long time. I waited in cardiology for a bubble study for like almost 3.5 hours, but that's what I was there for. I was there for these tests. So I didn't necessarily feel like I was wasting my time because I was literally in Minnesota to be at the hospital. So I thought it was great. All in all, the place is massive. I mean, this place is huge. They are efficient. They are so kind. I will just say I only had one bad experience with one department and one specific doctor, which I had a bad experience with pulmonology. I did not like I guess the head guy for pulmonology. He was like really rude to his, like the resident that was helping me. And he was just really rude in general. But aside from him, like I'm telling you that everyone in that hospital and everyone that was there was so nice and so like kind and so helpful that they overshadowed that terrible experience with that doctor because they were all so amazing. And I feel like when you go to other places, you're like, oh god, the doctor sucked. I mean, like the receptionist was nice enough, but I'm not gonna go back. Like I'm telling you, the customer service and their efficiency like is something that I've never seen before, and the hospital itself is absolutely beautiful, and there's like so many people like there to help you, and there's so much history, and they actually have like a really cute museum in there that was actually like really cool. We got to like walk around and like see stuff that, I don't know, I guess like the history of the hospital and like different people who have been like helped there at the hospital, and like it really is a world-class hospital. Like this is like, I think they set the standard for hospitals and even customer service, because I mean that place like completely blew my mind. I was like, this place, and it was like super intimidating too because it was such a huge place, but it was worth it, I think. At the end of the day, like when we were about to leave and after I saw pulmonology, I was like kind of frustrated. I was kind of like, you know, we came all the way this way, and you know, I feel like we're kind of back at square one, blah blah blah. But what they did, and the way that my rheumatologist here in San Antonio explained it to me, was Mayo is really great at telling you what you don't have. They're really great at eliminating things because they're not seeing you every single day. They're not seeing you every visit. They're seeing you that one time, and they can go, oh yeah, this. Okay, cool. And they can run the test. But like as far as elaborating, going deeper and digging deeper and going into like different stuff, they can't do that because you're not there for a long enough time. So I would definitely say if you get the chance to go and you have the resources and it's something that like it's on your heart to go, or you know, your doctors have told you like maybe you should go, or maybe family's telling you maybe you should go, I say just go. Like, it's worth the trip. It's worth the drive. It is, I thought it was really great. I think that there's a lot of stuff to do there. No matter what season you go in, I definitely probably wouldn't say, I'd say like it'd probably be better to go like during like Christmas time or during like summer, spring. During Thanksgiving, it was kind of like really boring and there wasn't a lot to do and a lot of stuff was closed, and so we didn't get to do like a lot. But I feel like if we would have gone like during the winter when they would have had like more of the winter stuff, is really cool. So I know that you're probably thinking like, oh my gosh, it's so cold in Minnesota, like why would we go? Okay, so they have this really cool thing. It's called a skywalk, and we'd never seen one before because like I live in South Texas, it doesn't snow, right? So it's this basically thing like at the bottom of the hospital, you can like walk all the way through, but it like is a whole thing that takes you through downtown, which is really cool. Like you can like walk through like a basement area and there's all these shops, but then if you go to like the next floor or the next floor, like if you want to walk through downtown you can, but it's all like covered, so like it's all connected, so you're always in the warmth and you're always like protected from like the snow, which I thought was really cool because it did snow when we were there for Thanksgiving. But I thought that was like really cool because it was like really so warm. We felt good and it wasn't crazy, and I was like kind of worried because I was like, how are we gonna get around? But between Ubers and the shuttles and everything, I mean, it was super easy. My husband only took out his truck like once because other than that we use like Uber and we use the shuttle for everything, so I think that really helped a lot too. Excuse me. But yeah, I mean, it was an absolutely amazing experience. Again, guys, if you get the chance to go to Mayo and it's something that you can do, I would 100% say to go. I would just do it because it really was an experience, and like I know a lot of people have gone and they get really frustrated because they feel like they didn't get answers. But we were really intentional about looking at this trip like, okay, I may not get answers in this trip, or I may get answers that I don't want to hear on this trip. Either way, we're going to turn it into a trip that we can enjoy and that we can remember together. So it's very much about spending time together and treating it like if it was a trip, treating it like if we were going to, you know, South Carolina or New Orleans, and just enjoying it as much as we could versus like putting all of our weight and all of our expectations on this trip. Because at the end of the day, I think that allowing it to give you so much, like give that trip so much power, like it only hurts and it only like can break your heart either way. Like even if it goes like they give you no answers, or even if they give you answers that you don't want to hear, putting all of your weight on like that is only going to break your heart regardless of what answers that you get. So I would definitely say just go in there and just be like, hey, whatever happens, happens. But even if it's not what I expected it, I still have a really awesome experience. And that's really what we focused on. Like we wanted to make sure that this was an experience that we could remember and that we could enjoy together and that we really, really, really liked. And it ended up being so great. We had such a good time. The drive back was brutal, but it was so worth it. But if you guys have any questions, or you feel like I didn't address something, or you maybe want me to elaborate more on something else, please feel free to comment below. And as always, don't forget to subscribe so that way you can know whenever I post new videos. I'm super excited to talk about next week about my prednisone weight gain and how I have struggled to kind of keep it off after being on 60 milligrams of prednisone, and kind of what I'm doing to fight it off. But other than that, I hope you guys have an absolutely awesome week. I have to get ready for school starting this week, which I'm super overwhelmed with, and obviously work. So you guys have a great one, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.